Hey Cam fam, welcome to sunny Edinburgh and a little kind of how-to video on some animated text overlays which I put up for free on the Stream Profile site. And if you haven't already, or if you managed to get to this video without finding the free overlays, then you can scan the code which is up that way and it will take you to the Stream Profile store, and you might need to scroll around a little bit, but you should find yourself the free animated text overlays, and there's 21 of them, very much like the one that you've just seen. So what I'm going to do is run through a couple of the text overlays in action, and then show you a couple of tricks in terms of how to use them, because I kind of neglected to do anything like that. So let us move on to the next scene where you can see another text overlay in action. So something simple like that next up, and you can use that wherever you like. And I'll come back in a minute. So here's my little keynote demo, and then I go up to my next scene, whatever that happens to be. So here's my next scene. And that's quiz time. And as it's quiz time, then what we're going to do is we'll bring in some answers to our quiz just by looking at comments from the participants. I'm not going to go into a great deal of detail and run a proper quiz here, but I could have something like this going on, and then I've got a couple of Stream Deck buttons that I've set up, and I'll tell you about those in a minute, but I could have something like this going on. Possibly should have got better sounds for this, but never mind. You can choose your own sounds. So all of the overlays come without sounds because there are licensing implications, so you're going to have to go and get your own sounds for these. So those are the sort of things that are in there, including things like welcome and hello and stuff like that, normal sort of things that you might want to use throughout your stream. And you can, in fact, move these around and size them as well as animated overlays. So if you don't want them covering the whole screen, then you can perhaps in a quiz just have the winner element popping over where it says viewer name or something along those lines, whatever you wanted to do really. So I'm just going to move on to a sort of a demo scene, a fairly blank demo scene, and then I'll go into live demo mode as well, which is my bête noire. I don't normally do very well in live demo mode, but we'll do it anyway. So into live demo mode, here we go. Turn on live demo mode, and you can see a whole bunch of stuff at the side of my screen, and I'm going to be dragging some of that in a moment or two. But for now, what I want to do is just zoom in here so that you can see what's going on, and I'm just going to tell you how you can bring in those different elements and what you can do with them. So if you wanted to bring in one of those looped elements, then what you can do is just come and click and drag it. So I ought to scroll back out to show you where those are sitting. In fact, I've changed the order of things here, so let's go back to the one that I actually want, which is over here. And actually that reminds me, so it's in an Ecamm assets folder. Now this is on an external hard drive for me, an SSD drive, but when you download all of these, don't leave them on your desktop where they can get sucked up by the iCloud. So what you want to do first of all when you bring them in is put them to a safe folder either on your hard drive or on an external hard drive, and that will stop them sort of disappearing up into the cloud because iCloud or Dropbox or other similar packages decide that they want to grab those and move them up to the cloud. So before you drop anything at all anywhere, so that Ecamm doesn't lose the whole perspective of where the file actually sits, that's what you want to do. So I've got mine stored here, and they're in a file called TextWebM, and I can take one of these and I can just drop one of them in. So I'm just going to drop in, let's say, this follow us one, and I'm going to drop that in over the whole screen at the moment, so it will cover the whole screen. And now let me zoom in a bit, because we've got our animated overlay covering the whole screen. So I can change the size of that if I wish to, and I can move it about if I want to. I can also do what I have chosen to do in this particular case, which is choose a different blend mode. So I could just change the blend mode, I guess, to a lower opacity. So if I bring that down, you can just have a lower opacity on that particular element, if that's what you want the look and feel to be. But in my particular case, behind this drop down, I'm going to choose a blend mode of divide, because that particular blend mode, when I bring it up and test it out, I think looks quite good with my screen there at the moment. So that's the first thing you're going to want to do, is to drop your overlay in, and in most cases you'll probably want to size it to fit the whole screen. The next thing you may want to do is to build in a countdown timer. So I'm going to first of all actually get this to cover the whole screen, but I'm going to put it behind me in this case. So I'm going to get it to cover the whole screen, and when I run it, it will do this if I leave it in front of me, because I put that blend mode on. So I guess I could leave it there actually. I might do that. I'll leave it there, but what I'm going to do is, rather than have the blend mode as divide, which lets you see the colours through the back, so I do use that quite a lot, but I would probably then drop that animation behind me, because it has some odd effects on my face, which is not great. So if I put it into just normal blend mode and then just reduce the opacity down on it, then I can hit this key here and just test that out to see what it looks like. And if I think, oh, that looks all right with follow us over the top of me, then great. But I probably want to make that appear and disappear. So I can do that by coming down to a little cogwheel over here. And I can choose a transition for that in the first place. So I normally bring it in, let's say, right in from the bottom. And again, I can test this out a little bit by having a play and manually turning this off and on. So let's turn it off and let's turn it on. So here comes the follow us, and then I can make that disappear again as well, just manually. But I'd rather do that with a Stream Deck, so we'll have a look in a minute of how we can do that using a Stream Deck. But also, while I was here, what I wanted to do was tell you how to make that go to my next scene as well, because I think that's fairly critical when you're using these things. If you just wanted to bring it on very briefly and then move to your next scene, what you'd probably do is put in a hidden countdown timer on this scene, and that will move you to the next scene. So how do you do that? So you just add in a standard countdown timer. So here's my countdown timer. If I can bring it down, which I can't. So let's bring it to somewhere where you can see it, and then go and zoom in again. So now you can see the countdown timer, and if I just add in the countdown timer as is, let me change the text color, make sure I can see the text color. Yes, I can. So I'm just going to add that in as standard at the moment. And what I tend to do is I will put most of my countdown timers down in this bottom corner here. So I know that at any time, I'm going to make this invisible at the moment, but at any time I want to fish for it, I can probably hover over it and look for the pause sign here, but it will be invisible. So let's look at that. And what we want to do with this, in this particular case, is edit that countdown so that it goes to the next scene when it's finished, but also so that the text is invisible. So I'm going to make the text invisible as well. It's important that you do these in the right order. So I'm making the text invisible by moving the opacity down to 0, and then now going to change the timing on this to just 5 seconds. So I think there's two lots of timers in here. There is one set which are applicable for the short single word animations, where you want a 5-second duration, and then there's other ones which are longer and have got sort of 3 words coming in, and you probably want 12 seconds for those. So in this case, I want that to be 5 seconds. It's going to go to the next scene when it's finished. Let me just save that. So it will go to the next scene after a few seconds. here I am. And by the way, these are some alternative versions of text that I've been working on. I've got about 3 packs of those going on, but this particular one is not in the free set. Let's go back up to the demo scene again, and what's going to happen in the demo scene. In fact, let's go back up to the one above it. Okay, so back in my quiz scene here, and I guess I should just bring back on in my quiz scene the viewer name and comment. So the comment comes in, and then I can say, ooh, it's a wrong answer or it's a winner, so I'm going to say it's a winner. And then I have my demo scene set up next, which is going to be my subscribe element in the demo scene. So it should just run up that little subscribe window and then move me to the next scene after 5 seconds. Follow us, move me to my next scene. So that's how simple it is to add these in and use a countdown timer in the background to make them all disappear again. So I'm just going to move up to the top green screen one here. There I've got a little applause going on still, but never mind. So that's where you can grab these from, follow the QR code. And what we can also do if you want to, and I highly recommend this for the single word things if you just want to bring them in. So you can do it using the countdown timer type route if you want to. The alternative is to bring them in with your Stream Deck. Let's see if I can drag that over. No, I can't. I need to scroll back out to drag the Stream Deck window back in somewhere that you can see it a bit more easily. That'll probably do. And we'll zoom back in again on the Stream Deck. So in the Stream Deck, what you would do if you want to make these items appear or disappear is to create a multi-action on the Stream Deck. So hopefully you've seen those sort of things before, so I'm not really going to teach you all about Stream Decks, but you come up to the multi-action and you drag and drop a multi-action into the Stream Deck. So I've done that for my winner and my wrong answer here. So my winner multi-action looks something like this. It's got 4 actions in it. The first action is to hide and show an overlay, and the overlay I'm hiding and showing is the text winner overlay. I then play a sound. I then delay it for, in this case, 4,000 milliseconds, which to anyone in normal English is 4 seconds. And then I hide that again. So I've brought it onto the screen. I've played a sound. It sits there for 4 seconds while it runs the animation. And then it will hide the animation again. And it will do all of that in one single keystroke. Now, if I want that on all scenes, which I might do if it says, you know, hello, good idea, awesome, something like that, then what I would want to do is to place that in show in all scenes. So let me scroll back out again, move this out of the way, and come over here a little bit. And we'll scroll back in here. So in my show in all scenes, I have got the wrong answer and the right winner answer showing in both different areas. So I know that any time that I hit that while I'm in here, it's going to pop up with wrong answer or winner, as is appropriate because they're in all the different scenes. So that's what you do with your Stream Deck. If you want to play about with that, that's certainly a good way to go. And I can't remember what else I've got in here now. So down to the demo scene, that will run me into there. I think I've just got an end scene. So I'm going to come out of live demo mode again. So let me scroll back out again because I need to do that to get the menu. And I'm going to come out of live demo mode. So hopefully I'm now full screen again. And as I say, this is one of, I think, 4 different ones that I've created since creating the free ones, and they'll be available in the coming weeks. So you just need to keep an eye out for them. They're all slightly different styles, and if you feel that the first one doesn't suit your stream, maybe wait a little bit, but keep coming back to the site to have a look around. And then I think I just run to the end of show one, but I'm bound to have forgotten to mention something. But that's a secret sauce with these is either use a Stream Deck key or use an invisible timer to move things on. And as I say, it's 12 seconds for the longer ones and 5 seconds for the shorter ones if you're doing that invisible countdown. And the one thing I should have mentioned as well is that personally, I like to go up to the Ecamm preferences, go to video and set the standard transition as slower cross dissolve. That's the one I nearly always use, so you might want to do that before you do anything else. So set it to slower cross dissolve. It's normally set to slow cross dissolve or cross dissolve as standard, but slower cross dissolve is the one that I prefer to use because I just think it kind of blends better with all these texts when you're moving between scenes like I am about to do. So here we go, moving to the next scene and the last scene.